Hi, I'm Kimberly with Sage Organizing.
And hi, I'm Amy with Sage Organizing. Today we're going to discuss what it's like to be an assistant organizer at Sage. Tell me a little bit about how you start your day.
I actually start before the job actually starts. I go into Basecamp maybe a day or two before and look for the project folder and look at any intake notes, any consult notes, photos. Need to know where the client lives or the address for the job. Just as important is looking at those tasks that have been assigned to me for that first day.
Also, something to keep in mind is your text messages. Sometimes the lead will send a message the night before and just ask if anyone likes to carpool. Sometimes having 4 people in a driveway is too much.
Yes.
And they can't all fit. So we like to drive 2 cars instead of 4.
Because some clients have some street limitations or driveway limitations. Good reminder to always check your phone the night before for confirmation or some last minute logistics.
Tell me a little bit about what it's like to be on site at one of our jobs.
I think an assistant organizer's role is to support the lead, and that means whatever tasks that have been assigned to you. Depending upon the job, it could be a variety of things. I could be unpacking in a primary or a kid's room or in a playroom. In preparation for a move, I might be wrapping items in a kitchen or a lamp or artwork or fine china. If it's an organizing job, it could even be trying to edit that client's items. So, we set up the sorting bins and ask, what do you want to keep? What do you want to donate? What do you want to trash? What do you want to sell?
It could be an estate clean out where we have a dumpster outside and we are either discarding or deciding what is donatable and where it's going to go.
Right.
I mean, we could be in an attic. We could
In
be in
the
a garage
summer.
in the summer when it's hot. We do all sorts of things.
It really is a variety. And the other good thing is on day one of any project, the lead always walks the team through the job, and so that everyone is starting out on the same page. And sometimes I might have been assigned the kitchen, but on site I might have been transferred to the primary.
Right.
Oftentimes we're assigned setup, setting up the supplies, breaking down the supplies, doing the before and after photos, and trash and donations. Somebody has to manage those on site as well.
Sometimes at the end of the day, we'll be putting bags of trash into one of the cars. Sometimes we'll be putting donate in somebody else's car, and you'll be actually driving it to the location.
Right. And we document that, right? I mean, we
Yes.
document everything, taking before and after photos, and we even photograph the donations and the trash.
Yes, it's very important that everything gets documented.
Yes.
Sometimes we'll get questions later on in the week, and it's really helpful to be able to go back and take a peek and remind ourselves what we did, since we usually have a lot of jobs going on at
Yes.
once. So it's
And
a good
it's just-
reminder.
And it's good for historical purposes too.
The days go really fast at
Ooh,
Sage.
that's an
right?
understatement, right? It is
Yeah.
nonstop.
Right?
Yeah.
It's fun, it's fast, we have a good time, we laugh a lot.
But sometimes it goes so fast that we kind of keep our eye off the clock and
Right.
forget that it's lunchtime.
Absolutely.
So let's
Lunch.
talk about
Let's
lunch.
talk about lunch. We usually always bring our own lunch. We have been really fortunate, and once in a while, a really great client will offer to buy us lunch, and we've had some delicious meals that way, but we always bring our own. We never want to use their microwave. We never want to use their refrigerator or any of their appliances. So we eat what we bring. It's usually quick. It's about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's a good time for us to kind of chit chat if we want. And it's a great time if you need to look at your text messages or your emails, maybe check in on your kids, anything like that.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, because we're so busy and focused during the day, and we're there to do the job, right? We're not there to talk about what you did last weekend or what. So lunch is a good time to check the phone for that. And in addition, the lead is really the main contact to the client on the job. So we keep our conversations really to a minimum.
That brings us to a good point about personal conversations. On the job, that's something we are very sensitive to. We do not discuss the job itself and what's happening in the client's home or anything about the client or their family
Right, the
while
situation.
we're at work. We could be in a situation where there's cameras, and there's always cameras these days. We don't judge. I think that's just a company policy, and it's just something we all believe.
Yeah, I think, it's one of the things I think that separates Sage from other companies, right? We really do have a no blame, no shame, no judgment stance. And we even incorporate that internally to our team as well.
So speaking of no blame, no shame, no judgment, all of that, something else we do is always support each other as a team. And I think we've been really, really great about that. And it's what keeps us close and keeps us such a fun environment to work for. Tight-knit group. It's been really fun. We're very conscious of heavy lifting and ladders and such things like that. If we have a box that's an extra large box and it's super heavy, we always make sure to just ask one of our teammates and be like, hey, can you help me bring this box to the garage or wherever we're going? We never want to just try and do it ourselves. We don't want anyone to get hurt. Everybody's super supportive and nobody minds helping out in those situations at all.
No, and I can think of some strange situations, right, where we've needed to get artwork off of a stairwell or something and the ladder's in an awkward angle. So we just ask someone to always spot us. But more importantly, no one's ever asked to do something that we wouldn't do ourselves or we haven't done. And if someone is uncomfortable with a particular task, they just need to let the lead know and we'll figure out another way to do it.
Yeah, there's never a situation where you're told you must do something, especially if you're uncomfortable. We never put anyone in that situation. Everyone at Sage carries their load and everyone pitches in and everyone gets their hands dirty, no matter who you are or what your position is.
We want to avoid any unnecessary hazards on the job. We all have box cutters, and as obvious as it seems, it's important to retract the blade. We get busy, we're doing boxes, we lay things down or we put them in our apron, but we just want to make sure those blades are back where they're supposed to be. And then hydrating, right? Like we work a lot in the hot months as well as winter months. We're nonstop. We honestly only take that 20-minute break for lunch, and so it's very important to remember to hydrate on the job.
And speaking of hazards, it also brings some incidents to mind that have happened over the years. Some things are not things that Sage has done, but necessarily maybe the movers had an accident or anybody could have had an accident.
Every now and then, the notorious wine glass gets broken, right?
Sure. Yes.
In an unpack or a packing situation. And I'm going to say 9 times out of 10, clients are understanding, especially if it's a cheaper everyday wine glass. But then there are those high ticket items sometimes where they either want to be reimbursed or if it can be replaced, then Sage works with the client.
Sage has always been really great about that and always putting the client first.
And let's not forget, sometimes we hear from clients after a job because they can't find something, they can't locate vacuum parts, or maybe it's a designer scarf they think is missing.
And that could be a day later, it could be 2 weeks later, it could be 3 months later. It's just another reason to always document and take lots of photos.
Document.
Sometimes as a lead, we need to go back and we would first call all of the workers who are on the job and ask them if they've seen the item we're missing. Sometimes we go back and look at every single photo to see if we can find what we need or where it might have been, just to kind of jog our memories. I think we've covered a lot.
I do too. I think maybe just a few housekeeping items would be, it's really important to punch in and out of a job in real time, preferably when we're on the job, but if not, at least shortly thereafter, because in addition to that, the people who have been assigned before and after photos will be, uploading those photos into that project folder in Basecamp. And then, we've all been assigned those tasks. Now it's time to go back into the project folder and mark those completed so that at the end of the day, when the lead is sort of wrapping up for the day and preparing for the next day, she also knows that everything was completed for the day. I think that kind of covers it.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
So
thank you.
that's an assistant organizer in a nutshell.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.